In this video, I'm going to be seeing whether I can make a fire with this. Now, I've never used one of these before or looked up how to use one, so I'm just going to be using the instructions that came in the pack to see how to do it for a complete novice experience. So a couple of years ago, I was given this kit by a friend, and I rarely have the need to make fires on my wilderness adventures, but I always take a lighter along with me for emergency situations or if there is the rare need to make a fire. I figured that this would be a pretty cool alternative if I can rely on it to make fire, so let's go and see. So this is the kit that I'll be using, and the key item is the fire steel down here. There's also some dry tinder on a stick. On the back side it says that it's all you need to light a fire in any weather, which is great because today it's a damp late October day and it's actually raining lightly at the moment, so we'll see how we get along. Basically just gather a load of tinder, small bits as dry as possible, put them together, add a spark, add more tinder and add more stuff as your fire grows. But I guess we'll just work it out ourselves, and let's go and see if we can find some tinder. But we may well need this dry tinder stick today, since finding dry stuff would be pretty difficult. Well, I'm in my own back garden here, so I could easily cheat by going to get some dry material from undercover, but I've tried to keep it as real as possible, and I've just collected the exposed stuff, which is pretty damp on the outside, but I think quite dry on the inside, especially with some of these grasses and things that were underneath a larch tree. I've also got some slightly bigger bits, I think either sycamore or alder. We'll see how we get on. Okay, so this looks pretty good to me. Let's give it a go. How do we use it? Oh, there's a spark. I'm getting some sparks, but nowhere close to lighting, so I think maybe I'll try and get some of this bark, see if that helps. Well, this hasn't worked so far, so I'm going to try to slice off a bit of this dry kindling and see if that makes any difference. Before I do that, we do have some birch trees in the garden, so let's see if I can get any loose bark and whether that'll help at all. So now I've got this really nice handful of birch bark. Let's see if that helps us to start this fire. Well, we've got our first little bit of catching, so the key was to get the spark to just sit on the birch. Let's see if we can do that again. So I evidently don't know what I'm doing. The question is, do I now peel off some of the tinder sticks, since it is very damp out, and that may be what I need to do. I'm going to try that. Let's see how this works. Still nothing, so obviously I'm doing something wrong. I don't know what that is. It just feels so close, you know? Feels like any time now we'll get that spark that will just go, come on. Come on. I think this is the point where I say I need help and I'm going to look up some video on how to do this and then give it another go. One thing would be that I could draw the steel away so that I'm not disturbing But I really am disturbing. That's a technique thing, and we've now just pulled the kit apart, which is wonderful. Put that back together. Doesn't want to happen, we'll just knot it. Who needs plastic? I think my original technique was better for producing sparks, going on top of the dry tinder, but nothing. Well, this is more difficult than it seems. We managed to light a bit of birch bark, burn a hole in it, but then it went out. I think I'm starting to get a bit more of a feel for this when I'm using the full length of the steel and giving it a real flick to get as much spark as possible off there. Well, I could try shaving off even more dry tinder, and I think that's pretty much my last ditch attempt before I do some cheating and get some dry stuff from somewhere else. I'm really going to try to make these shavings very, well, I said very thin, but then I take a thick one. There we go, very thin shavings. There's quite a little pile of shavings down there, so let's see if that'll work. We've got a flame. We've got a flame. We've got a flame. How about that? We got it. We got it. Right, let's try and get something on top. Wow, we finally got there. Oh man, I'm relieved. And I think this is showing just how wet everything is. Even this grass isn't really catching that well. I mean, the dry kindling stick was absolutely essential there. Without that, no chance. Well, I let my awesome little fire go out, probably through just having too wet wood. So I'm going to give it another go. And I've been trying with just the dry tinder that I carved off again. That didn't work. So I've gone for more birch. The same recipe as last time. See if we can get it going again. I'll just say, for doing this for a first time, these conditions really aren't ideal. It's been raining pretty much the last 12 days. Everything here is super damp, and it's making it really tricky, I guess. Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go. Got a bit of fire going again. Good. Excellent stuff. Now it's a bit too wet. Let's try and get some wood on. A bit more of our birch. Put it in here. And that birch is really, really the biggest helper here.
and see if I can get some more birch before it goes out. A bit more in there. See what we've got that's really dry. That's not. Let's see if that. Big realization here. It doesn't make any difference whether I'm using a fire steel or a lighter. If I have wet tinder or wet fuel, I'm going to have the same struggle. The main thing is I got a flame and I got a fire started, and that's the key thing I was looking for. So what I may now do is go and get some dry fuel and just have a fire. We've now got this nice little pile of dry kindling, so we're going to see how that works and whether we can get a fire started more easily with that and a few dry pieces of wood that I've got out. So let's try this. Maybe this elevated position isn't great. And see the sparks dropping through. Okay, here we go again. This time, let's get some dry wood on. So now, having seen me make a complete pig's ear of that, but get there in the end, if you know better, let me know. What was I doing wrong? And what do you think of this method? Would you take the steel over a lighter or matches for emergency use, or yeah, would you stick to the easy way? But I don't know. I think I feel pretty confident that having this fire steel or a lighter, it's not going to make too much difference, so I think I'd be quite happy to use it. So I hope you enjoyed this video and at the least you got something out of it, learned something, or just enjoyed laughing at me. If you did enjoy it, please do leave a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more outdoors content and reviews. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.